What's up, y'all? It's Frank Payne with another episode of Loud and Unfiltered, and today we've got another flashback going back to 2013. Talking to George Lopez, about to go out on tour. He's got a new book out at the time and more. This is a really, really fun interview. Again, a flashback one all the way back to 2013. We'll talk about, signing an autograph, getting a picture, then getting an applause while in Walmart. We'll talk about his favorite form of performing, and he's going to be offering some great advice. The old philosopher in George Lopez. So enjoy it. Here's another episode of Loud and Unfiltered featuring George Lopez. It's a flashback to 2013. It really is cool to be talking to you. And when I was told that I was going to have an interview with you, I'm sitting there thinking, dude, what am I going to ask George Lopez? I'm going to sound like the biggest dumbass on the planet. But I do have to ask you this one question.
Yes, sir.
You've done everything. You've done everything, but with comedy being your background, do you get those cliche answers and the dumbasses that go, "Hey, funny man, tell me a joke"? People.
Oh yeah. I was in the car. And some people were waving at me, and I was like, "Hey!" I rolled the window down. They say, "Tell me a joke." I'm like, "We're in the car. We're on the street."
Yeah, it's not a stage.
So yeah, yes, of course. And the greatest is, when I had my surgery in 2005, there was a guy mopping, and he came in to mop my room, and I'm like, dude, so he looks at the board, and I had an alias.
Yeah.
And he looks at the alias, and he's like, "Is that you?" And I go, "Yeah, that's me." And he's mopping, and he looks back, and he goes, "Yeah, but you're George Lopez too, right?"
No, I'm Tom Jones today.
It was close. It was like that. It was like one of those.
Hey, how do you, when you're on the road and everything, somebody with as grand of celebrity status as yourself, I mean, I know you want to have some kind of privacy and anonymity at times. How do you get dressed up in disguises? Do you just, No, you
know what? First of all, a hat doesn't fit my head because it's so big.
You and I have the same problem, brother.
Oh, dude, I mean, I've had people buy me a hat, and they'll say one size fits all, and I'll be like, "Nah, well, I don't fit this one."
My hats, when people give me hats, they look more like yarmulkes because that's about the only part of my head that it fits.
Oh, it's embarrassing. And if my hair is a little bit longer, then forget it. But if I find a hat that fits, I usually snatch that sucker up because I won't find another one that fits for a long time.
Man, you're preaching to the choir now, and you wear that hat forever because that's. I think we're brothers.
But my voice is pretty recognizable, and I think my face is pretty interesting. People. Like my daughter, I went to Walmart with my daughter, and nobody said anything. And then somebody came up and said, "Can we take a picture with you?" And I said, "Sure." And I took a few more pictures, and then I took a few more. And that was really nice. She's been patient with it. I mean, she's 16, but she's been around it her whole life and stuff. And so she's pretty cool with it. And I never put her in the picture. It's just me. Yeah. So when I paid, they all clapped.
Really?
All the people started clapping, and I said, "The hell with Target!" And they clapped louder.
That's awesome, man. Hey,
it was great. Those things are pretty amazing. I went to a Mexican restaurant one time, and I took a picture with the staff afterwards, and everybody in the restaurant clapped. And I came back in the restaurant and put my fist in the air, and they clapped louder. I mean, it's hilarious.
That's awesome. Next time you do that, you ought to flash them your boobs. Because that's you get that out of the girls at rock concerts.
That would be great.
And
that would be great. I was putting gas. I was coming back from the Palm Springs, and I was putting gas, and a guy pulls up, and he's got a kid in the back and his wife, and he's homeless. His car's pretty beat up, and he says, "Hey man, do you have a couple dollars for gas?" And I said, "Well, what pump are you on?" So I filled the dude's tank up with gas.
Wow.
And he's like, "Are you George Lopez?" And I said, I'm giving you gas, And he's like, "Yeah, but you're George Lopez." I'm like, "Dude, just be happy with the gas. Don't worry about who I am."
Yeah. Sometimes people just they go a little bit too far with it, man. Hey, George.
Well, they mean well. I mean, I can remember seeing people that even when I first started getting attention with my television show, that I would see somebody, I would go, "Oh my God, that's so and so." I saw Bruce Springsteen in 2008 at Obama's inauguration in Washington, D.C., and I'm standing right next to him, and I was like, oh, I can't believe that I'm standing right next to Bruce Springsteen.
Dude, okay, now when you're in a position like that, how do you act when you see some of the people that you idolize? Do you...
Well, I like dudes like that. Like, I like rock guys, I know Eddie Van Halen, and I couldn't, I can't believe that you know these guys. Or, I took over for Bill Cosby at the Playboy Jazz Festival this summer at the Hollywood Bowl.
Yeah.
And I saw Quincy Jones and Herbie Hancock was there, and then Bill Cosby, and I talked on the phone. And that kind of stuff is just, you can't imagine that Bill Cosby is calling you and talking to you on the phone.
It's in the way you're describing it is exactly the way I feel about you right now. I'm like,
well, that's very kind, because it's pretty powerful when you talk to somebody and you think, I can't believe I'm talking to this person.
Damn right, it's powerful. I just pissed my pants, man. And I'm like, I'm on the phone with George Lopez. Hey, George, you've done it all, man. From voiceover to sitcom, stand-up, late-night TV, movies. I mean, you've done it all. What can you pinpoint one of those that you're like, okay, this is my favorite, or is it just kind of all of it? You're like, you know what?
No, you know what? I got to say that stand-up is my favorite, because with the television show, you have somebody there telling you what you can and can't say.
Okay.
Not as much the guys I was in business with, and not even Warner Brothers as much as ABC a little bit was. And I get it. We weren't trying to make something that wasn't watchable, but that's somebody's job, is to keep track of how many times you say this and that and that.
Right.
And then at the talk show, the whole 2 years was about don't say this, don't say that. TBS was more concerned with getting into trouble and saying something that would offend viewers than, and at times, David Letterman and Johnny Carson and Jay Leno and Jimmy Kimmel, those guys, you have to upset some people sometimes. It's late night, but they could never get that. And going to work every day and having somebody tell you can't do this and you can't do that is not the way that somebody should be able to work. So stand-up is the freest kind of performing, and I like that there's not somebody telling me what I can say and can't say.
That's awesome, man. But I got to tell you, man, I loved your TV show, your late night show, man. Yours was because it was obvious that you were sincere. Those were that was George Lopez up there. That wasn't. I can understand. You got the censors and you see the red light. Okay, don't do this. But man, it was cool to see somebody that's kind of like you represented the real people.
Well, thank you. I had a great band, and that band could play anything, and I had a bunch of different music on. I had country and I had rock and rap, and it was diverse. And I think about it sometimes, and I miss that more than anything. I miss being able to put 50 Cent and Mark Harmon together, and Keith Urban or Daughtry and Santana and Snoop, and it's just I miss that, because nobody's doing that.
Yeah, you're right. Nobody is doing that. Well, maybe
and that's what I miss. That Morrissey. I miss all that more than I miss. And the people that I had on my side were pretty amazing, and the band, like I said, was they could play anything.
I want to take a real quick second to talk about I'm Not Gonna Lie. Tell me about this book.
Oh yeah, so in getting older, in turning 50, I realized that the truth is probably the best. If somebody, like they say, you can't handle the truth is always the best way, because lies get difficult to remember.
Right. And
everybody lies. But if everybody told the truth, not only would it be easier in your own life, but people would know where you stood. Like if somebody says, hey man, my grandmother's having a 90th birthday party, you want to go? And you're like, man, I ain't going to go to some 90-year-old party. Instead you say, well, I got to go pick up my daughter, and I'm not sure if I'm going to. I'll tell you what, I'll meet you down there. Just say, I'm not going to a 90-year-old's birthday party.
Yep.
And, so if somebody says, hey, how do I look in this? And you're like, I think you look great. Then you're sending them out knowing that they don't look good in whatever they're wearing. Like if you were to say, listen, I can see your pantyhose line through your dress, so I'm not sure if that's the look you're going for.
Yeah. But it is tough to do that. It's tough to tell the truth sometimes. You've got a book that's telling what we want to tell, but we just don't tell it.
It's just a little bit of a look at like how things change and how you change and how to enjoy the moment and how to appreciate the space that you're in at this particular time, because you can only be in one space at one time. And people are either too concerned about the past or too worried about the future, and the future is yet to be determined, so there's no way you can worry about something that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, you're exactly right, brother.
That's really the ultimate message of the book, is to whatever you're doing right now and whatever you've always wanted to do it, because it's going to be there a lot longer than you're going to be around. So take advantage of it before you go.
Yeah. So George Lopez is not only one of the funniest comedians ever to grace the stage, TV, movies, but you're also a philosopher.
Well, I don't know how that happened. I think in making a lot of mistakes, you realize, what the hell am I doing? I got to trust my natural instinct.
Yeah.
Trust your basic instinct, and I think you end up better than trying to either be somebody you're not, or be jealous of someone else, or be negative for the sake of being negative. I mean, we can't compare ourselves to other people or what someone else is doing. We can only look at ourselves. So, most people still have a lot of work to do on themselves. It should be that first.
You're exactly right, man. And this is awesome, man. I'm getting a lesson today. We got some laughs, and I'm wrapping up this interview getting a lesson, man. That's George Lopez, a very well rounded and a very grounded person, man. That's that's actually good to hear, because there's so many negative things that are said about celebrities that man, it's really kind of heartwarming to hear the good stories like you.
Let me tell you, one of the things that is the most shocking is how people will say on Twitter or whatever they say, I hate so-and-so, or I don't like so-and-so. They don't know you. They've only seen your work.
Right.
And, your work is not who you are. It's what you do. I don't think people are smart enough to even realize that's not who anybody is. It's what they do.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
It's like hating Mickey Mouse because you don't like animals. It's like Mickey Mouse is a made-up mouse.
Travel down to Disneyland and whoop Mickey Mouse's ass. My brother from another mother, George Lopez. Man, I definitely appreciate you spending some time with me on the phone. I know I've taken up a lot of your time, but, man,
I enjoyed it. It's great, Mike. I appreciate it. Thank you, brother.
George, man, thank you so much for talking to me today.
Well, you're the greatest. I had a great time, so thank you.
What a great one. 2013 is when I recorded that one. George Lopez, comedian, talk show host, TV actor, movie actor, so much more. He's hilarious. If you ever get a chance to see him out on stage, because his stand-up comedy is, what made him, you got to take advantage of it. I've had a chance to see him 4 times now, and each time is funnier than the last. Hey, don't forget, you can find us online at DaleJr.forPresident.com. The lawyers tell me the disclaimer is, Loud and Unfiltered is not affiliated with Dale Earnhardt Jr. or his desire to run for president. LoudandUnfiltered.com. That website was taken, so we went with the next best thing, DaleJr.forPresident.com. Get your Loud and Unfiltered merch there. You can catch up with previous episodes and so much more. And when you're on your favorite podcasting platform, please, please, please like, subscribe, follow, ring that bell, leave a comment, leave a review. Just let me know that you're listening. I appreciate it so much. It's been a blast hanging out with you today on Loud and Unfiltered. Please remember, be a good human. Drink that Diet Dr. Pepper and stay loud and unfiltered.